All right. Semi-gorgeous day today. Let's get cracking. What up, homies of the interwebs? This is lugnuts.guapo coming at you from Longhorn Harley-Davidson, and we are riding this VROD muscle. Yeah, when I think VROD muscle, I think that big fat tire on the rear end, and overall a fun bike to ride in a straight line. Yeah, I'm a little bit confused as to why Harley decided to do inverted front and then that kind of rear end, but then again, look at the FXDR. Anywho, yeah, why would you buy a VROD in general? If you don't know much about these bikes, well, let me give you a brief history. The engine was designed by Porsche and Harley-Davidson, and it's a high revving motor. It's not like your typical V-twin motor where you're shifting around 3,500 RPM. This one wants to go high, and it's a lot of fun once you get up in those higher RPMs. Liquid cooled motor, extremely reliable. You can beat the crap out of them, but if you don't do the maintenance and if something breaks, they're kind of a pain to work with. But other than that, they're very, very reliable. This one just came in on trade, has awesome bags on it. I wish they had something like that for a Dyna or a Road King. I really like those leather bags. And this one actually set up for kind of like going on a longer distance, as a little windshield and those bags. Now, would I personally travel on a bike like this? Probably not. But hey, let's get it on highway, and I'll give you my honest opinion on this bike. So, anywho, roll the tape. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, geez. You know, it looks beautiful outside in the sun when you're sitting still and there's no wind. It feels amazing, but as you can see on those flanks, there's a lot of wind and it feels quite chilly. So, alright. So, right off the gate, boom. The head exhaust sounds awesome. The seat is like super wide and you'll immediately feel it. The bars are pretty far out there, so you're fully stretched, and usually that's not a problem. But then you put your feet up, which are in front of you, and you're like, yeah, that's it can get uncomfortable after a while. I will say this seat has nice lower back support that you don't really get to use because you're leaning forward. All right, are you ready to rumble? Oh, that wheel came off! That rear wheel, man. Oh, I wish there was someone else recording. Man, that rear wheel just came out from under me. And that is why this motor is so much fun. The amount of power that you get, especially at higher RPMs, is absolutely insane. Wow. Now, I would say those pipes sound great, but I can already tell that I'm gonna get annoyed with that sound. It's pretty loud. I don't know if you can hear it inside my helmet, but it's pretty bad. And honestly, this position is not the greatest. So I'm in 5th gear and probably 4,000 RPM, which is around I don't know, like 50 something miles an hour. And yeah, that's loud. That's very loud. Like I said, this is a high revving motor, so keep that in mind. And by the way, it only has 5 speeds, if you didn't know that already. So long distances on highway, that motor is going to be up there. And if you have a lot of exhaust like what this has, yeah, that's you might not enjoy that very much. So what is this person doing? Oh jeez. All right, so I'm kind of glad that we came to a stop so I can stretch out there. This position is not very comfortable, and so if you're planning on going on a long trip with this, man, I wouldn't suggest it. But if you do it, props to you. As a matter of fact, when I was doing sales over at Harley-Davidson, I met this father and son that did a road trip on a night rod from Mexico City to Dallas. They're from Mexico City, and I was like, oh cool. I look outside, there's only one night rod. One. That means one thing. two up from Mexico City to Dallas on a night rod. They said they took turns. And that has to be rough, man. Woo! And I mean, they did say, yeah, that was a little rough. And yeah, I can absolutely see how that would be very rough. Oh man, let's see. Honestly, don't even know what gear I'm on. I'm 4,000 RPM. That sound, man. That's cool if you're not going very far. Otherwise, it's kind of annoying. That's really like in the low RPMs for this bike particularly, and it's like a pit bull that's kind of like toying with you, like let me at him, and he's not really pulling too hard. He's not mad, but you can tell he's strong. That's what it feels like at the low RPMs, and that's like 4,000, 5,000 RPM. As you can see, the rev limiter is right at 9. 9! That's like sport bike stuff right there. Of course, I know some sport bikes are over that. I get it. This is not a sport bike, but for a Harley, that's pretty dang high. So far on highway, I mean, I didn't go too fast. We were probably doing about 60, and no, it's not very comfortable. This little windshield is not doing me any favors. I can definitely like hit it in the top of my helmet. So and honestly, these bikes look amazing without all this extra crap. Just kind of like a naked sport bike, you know. That drum, man, that noise, like it makes you want to hit the throttle hard. And then once you do and you're on the highway, you're constantly listening to that sound. It's like, oh, make it stop. I don't know if that's a sign that I'm getting old or what. Now, for those that don't know, this is not actually the gas tank. that's your air box in there. The gas tank is actually underneath my butt. Yep. That means you lift up the seat and fill up. And it's a plastic gas tank. I don't know what composites it is made out of, but it's not your typical tank. You can just feel that front suspension like lift off, and then like when you let go of the throttle, it just hits the ground hard. Oh man. Oh. Looks like there's an accident over there, and that's exactly where I'm headed, so that kind of sucks. Alright, move it! The bark on this motor, whew! I will say, I'm shifting way too early, but once I got on the highway, I'll try to get a little higher up there if I get a chance to. So, what else can I tell you about the muscle? Other than what I've told you already. Oh yeah, well, lean angle, not so great. Turning radius, definitely not great. I mean, the clearance, in combination with a 240, and as much as that inverted suspension is usually a good thing, in this case, that means that the forks are bigger up top. And that means that you can't steer it as far as if you just had regular suspension. I keep wanting to shift up because of how loud that is, and I realized that that's actually not even 5,000 RPM. I'm already annoyed. I just want to open it up so bad. I'm gonna do that on this next highway, hopefully. Oh man, I'm pretty sure if I downshifted, that rear tire would just come out from under me. I mean, I did it earlier. I was barely even hitting it. That is so annoying. That noise is getting a little bit overwhelming, I have to be honest with you. If I had a VROD, there's definitely loud exhaust would not be one of my preferred choices. Now, suspension-wise, I'm actually a little bit surprised because of how short the shocks are. The front suspension is great. I mean, it's an inverted front end, so no complaints there. But the rear, I'm actually a little bit surprised. So, gosh, man, I'm starting to get a headache. Does that mean that I'm old? Alright, let's see if I can get on the far left lane and punch it. Alright, ready? Set, go. That's why you buy a VROD, by the way, just in case you were wondering. Wow! I would say it doesn't feel like the M8 with all that torque. You can definitely feel it's more like the sport bike feel, where it's like more of a horsepower thing. I will say, man, I think I need to cut this test ride short because that noise is just getting under my skin. I'm pretty sure someone younger than me, and I'm not that old, someone younger than me could probably be happy with this, or another person could be happy with it, but just not with this exhaust. Oh, yeah, every time I hit it, there's like this pitch that goes into my helmet. It's piercing. No, I am having fun. I'm just not enjoying that sound. This would be a lot more enjoyable without this exhaust. And I think, honestly, I think they just removed the baffles out of it, and that's why it's so obnoxious. When it's sitting here, it just sounds mean, you know? Jeez. If I had to compare this to anything else in life, this is definitely a pit bull. It lets you know that it's strong, it's playful. You're like, oh yeah, they're the cute dogs. Holy crap, this thing is strong. But when it's pissed, man, it'll devour you. Holy crap. High RPMs, this thing is very, very happy, very much in its element. And man, I can see why a lot of people that had sport bikes traded in for something like this. It's a fun bike, it really is. And again, a sport bike, that's not something that you want to go traveling with necessarily. It's not the most comfortable, but you can do it, absolutely. Like that father and son that I met that did from Mexico City to Dallas, which, by the way, from here to my hometown in Mexico is about 13 hours. From my hometown to Mexico City, it's probably like another 15 hours, give or take, probably more. So, yep. Let's just say, let's round it up at 30 hours. Can you imagine being 30 hours on this seat? I don't think so. Now, here to Austin, that's doable. Because 2-3 hours of riding on this thing, depending on how fast you're going, of course. But this bike is going to be a lot of fun, especially if you're trying to be all fast and furious. Let's see. Yeah, you watch out, sir. Alright. Let's leave some space between me and the person in front of me. And just like that. Freaking 80 miles an hour in second gear. Wow! I'm telling you, this bike is no joke. No joke. And there's a reason why people like them. And again, this is one of those love it or hate it bikes. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know that I hate it, but I definitely don't love it. I don't know that I could, if I could afford it, I don't know that I would want one. They're fun to ride. For my personal type of riding, this is just not it. I don't even know if this is my exit or not. I think it is. Oh man, it's a fun bike. Honestly, I think I would rather have this over an FXDR, because in my mind this is 10 times more fun, just because of the way that, because of the personality of the motor, period. The Milwaukee 8, I just see that more as a cruiser kind of a motor. I mean, yeah, you can do all kinds of performance things to it, but there's not going to be nearly as fun in the configuration of a VROD, kind of like what the FXDR is. On this, it just makes complete sense. I mean, the kind of market that of people that like these types of bikes, this motor makes sense. And if you're not familiar with the Street Rod, not the VROD version, but the latest Street Rod, the one that's like a very small, compact city bike, the motor is very similar. And when you get on highway, it is incredibly smooth. But that also has a 6-gear, yep, 6-speed transmission, and this has 5. I think this would be, if this was a tad bit more comfortable and had a 6-gear, I think all day long this would be a fun all-around good bike. But ergonomically, it's not the most comfortable, and yeah, man, I can't get over how uncomfortable it can get. Like, my neck is a little bit sore from looking up with my helmet and being hunched over. Now, short distances, this thing is a blast. Oh man, even at low RPMs, this thing is fun. It makes me smile so hard that my cheeks are hurting, but I can't see myself justifying getting one of these for myself. I will ride, every time I get a chance I will ride one, and that's actually the case. I ride them all the time on test rides, just because I enjoy it. But every day, I don't know that I could do this every day. But again, that's just me. Anywho, if you enjoyed it, subscribe right now. Click that subscribe button, and follow us on Instagram if you don't know already at Longhorn_HD, and on Facebook as Longhorn Harley-Davidson. Click follow, like, and keep up with us. And yeah, we're also on SoundCloud and iTunes, and our podcast, the MLHD podcast. We're thinking about rebranding, but we'll see. But anywho, go follow that, and yeah. If you want to test ride this beast, call us here at 972-988-1903 and schedule a test ride, make it yours, and get some wind therapy. Later.